Today's video is meant for the individual that is getting the opportunity to receive a cash out pension, meaning take a lump sum from their pension or trigger some sort of lifetime income stream from their pension. So I want to discuss a couple different things in this video. The first thing, explain to you what a pension plan is, what's the difference between that versus a qualified retirement account such as a 401k. And then look at what's the difference between taking the flexible option, meaning taking the lump sum and creating some sort of retirement planning strategy, how that could be more beneficial than taking the level income option. Or by taking the level income option, it's going to result in a larger mathematical difference and a larger mathematical benefit than taking the lump sum option. I'm going to go over some different examples. At any point in time, if you want to speak with an advisor, feel free to give our 1-800 number a call. It's 1-800-566-1002. Reference this video entitled Cash Out Pension When Leaving Job. So a pension plan is an employer-sponsored retirement plan or account that your employer is setting up for you. So unfortunately, a lot of individuals are not offered pension plans. That used to be the status quo. That used to be the norm. I always use the example of my grandfather. My grandfather was an elevator mechanic for the city of New York. He understood that if he worked X amount of years of service and he was giving X amount of hours, that he was going to have this calculation benefit set up for him and my grandmother by the time that he hit his retirement years. So he was able to retire earlier. At that aspect, or in his situation, when he was in his 50s and he retired, he said, all right, let me collect my pension income stream, and I know that it's going to be giving me income for the rest of my life. If I pass away, my spouse will receive income for the rest of her life, and then when she passes away, there's going to be no more benefit there. So that's how the basic components of a pension work. Now, when we fast forward to today, you have a lot more opportunity where individuals are saying, rather than take the income stream, these companies, rather than taking on that risk and making sure that they're constantly paying all these employees that work for them, paying for their retirement income streams, they want to say, hey, listen, this is a nice shiny object. Take this lump sum and we're going to wash our hands of this risk. So that's where if, let's say, an individual situation, they're receiving $5,000 per month of pension income, or they could receive $600,000 of a lump sum and figure out what to do with their own retirement, which is a better route. And it really just depends. It depends on their situation. Depends on, really what their other employee benefits are. It depends on how much that they've accumulated with different assets. Depends what their Social Security income streams are going to be at that point. Depends on how fast that they want to retire. So there's a couple different factors, and that's what the purpose of this video is, to really unravel those layers and see which makes the most mathematical sense and which strategy would really be the best for your specific situation. So in the first example, if let's say we have an individual that's age 60, they're looking to retire at age 65. They have Social Security income coming to them at age 65 of $30,000. Their expenses at age 65 are going to be $70,000, and they're given this option of a cash out their pension in the form of a lump sum, or stick with their pension, and they know what that payment's going to be at their age 65 going forward. So if they stick with the pension, they know that they'll receive $40,000 of income, of annual income in this example, which the $30,000 plus the $30,000 Social Security income plus the $40,000 of the pension income will equal their $70,000 amount. Now, we're not incorporating for inflation. We're just basically keeping it very simple with this example. They could either take that lifetime income stream, or they could receive a lump sum of $600,000, which is a better route. And it all depends, because let's say that there's a way to create an income strategy by utilizing $400,000 of this $600,000, and that's going to produce $40,000 of cash flow, lifetime income cash flow at this individual's age 65. If this is a reality, it only, out of the $600,000 of the lump sum, it made better mathematical sense to take the lump sum money, roll it over to an IRA, then create an IRA strategy with $400,000 of those dollars to produce the same $40,000 cash flow that this individual would have been handcuffed if they would have just stuck with the original pension single life income option or joint life income option. In doing so, with the lump sum of the $600,000, utilizing $400,000 for strategy number one, they now have $200,000 left over for strategy number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however much that they want to splice that out. So what that did was it still gave them the income that they needed to get to that $70,000 per year, but it gave them now that flexibility as opposed to being handcuffed to the income stream. Instead of saying, okay, I'm just going to disregard this nice shiny object, this lump sum pension option, and I just want to receive income, you could still receive lifetime income, but you're doing it to keep more chips in your hands, to make sure you have more flexibility at your fingertips, as opposed to just leveraging the flexibility of that employer-sponsored, this is your only income strategy, this is your only benefit of $40,000 per year. Because what happens is, if let's say this individual was taking $40,000 of lifetime income, and they also have beneficiaries that they want to make sure we're taken care of, and they basically trigger this at 65, they live for a couple of years, and that person passes away, well, then no more money would be left over to the beneficiaries. By creating the proper income strategy, by taking the lump sum, utilizing the dollars in this example of $400,000 to create some sort of income stream of $40,000, while having the remaining $200,000 left over, if this person passed away after a couple of years, they would still leave whatever the remaining account balance was from this $400,000 and the $200,000, whatever that grew to. Also, they would be making this move at their age 60, at their currently age 60, because this is when that lump sum pension option was available. So some individuals can have these lump sum pension options come to fruition as they're still working, as they're about 5 years, 3 years, a couple years out from retirement. And then other individuals, as they start nearing that age 65 marker, they may be given this lump sum option to say, hey, listen, you can either take a lump sum option, or you could take the set income stream which you originally anticipated from inception. It really depends, because this example obviously made mathematical sense to take the lump sum and then create some sort of strategy to produce that cash flow, and also have some sort of growth, have some sort of emergency need for their ancillary dollars, for their ancillary needs. And the lump sum made a ton more mathematical sense than just utilizing the single life income stream or the income stream through that company, through that employer pension income stream. So I hope that this makes sense. What are some examples where it doesn't make sense, and it might make more sense to just leverage the pension income stream and forego the lump sum option? So now in this example, it's going to show you where a pension income stream makes more sense than a lump sum. And simply put, if let's say an individual is now retiring at age 65, and they are age 65, so they really only have about a month or so of wiggle room, their expenses are still $70,000. Their Social Security income coming to them is $30,000. All things being equal, we're not going to incorporate for inflation, but let's say that their pension income stream is going to be $40,000. So we know that the $30,000 of their Social Security that they could trigger at 65, and also the pension income at 65 of $40,000 is going to equal that $70,000 need. So they now have their baseline covered off of what their income sources are, what their income streams are, versus what their expenses are. So that's at least hitting them. They're at least staying level every single month, every single year from now until the date that they pass away. If, let's say, they see this nice shiny object because the employer says, we don't want to take on this $40,000 risk anymore, let's go and give this person a lump sum option. They could take out $300,000. We could give them $300,000 today, so that therefore we're washing our hands and we no longer have to worry about producing some sort of income stream for their retirement years. And if they live a long life, we're not basically, they're not sticking it to us every single year that they live past that X point. And what occurs with this situation, if you have a $300,000 lump sum and there's no opportunities to take $300,000 and make that into $40,000, it doesn't make sense to take the lump sum. With retirement, really the trick with retirement is income. If you don't have income, then you don't have a retirement. So what a pension does is it gives you that income basis. It gives you that baseline when you're mixing that with Social Security income that could produce level income, or that could produce lifetime income, that you could say, okay, these are my expenses. This is what I need to hit every single year, every single month throughout retirement. And at least I have this peace of mind that this income stream is always going to be coming to me. By utilizing the lump sum, it makes sense to cash out your pension when you know that you could structure your lump sum dollars into some sort of strategy to produce the income that's needed, that's going to be greater than or equal to your expenses. And then you also have some leftover monies as well to utilize for emergency need, or utilize for growth-related need, maybe inheritance maximization, whatever that case might be. So I'm going to go over some different ways on how you could itemize those strategies, or just some different acronyms to help you create some sort of strategy, some sort of plan, as opposed to just going into some sort of portfolio and just saying, okay, I think that this pension income stream is all that I need, but I'm not really sure. There are different layers that you could structure to make sure that you're going to have that confidence in retirement and know that you did the correct mathematical route. And the first acronym that I'm referring to is DIET, D-I-E-T. The four most important areas for any retirement plan should be making sure that your distribution strategy is covered. You understand all the pros and cons off of where your income is, what your expenses are currently, where your expenses are going to be. Making sure that you're producing the proper income strategy in conjunction with Social Security income, pension income, whatever that is. Then making sure that you also have some sort of emergency need in case of an oh my gosh moment was to occur. So you have ample amount of emergency needs. The rule of thumb is going to be anywhere between 3 to 12 months, 3 to 6 months of whatever your expenses are. You should at least leave into some sort of liquid account. Then it goes into I, which are investments or growth-related planning. So anything that you don't use for your distribution needs or your income needs and your emergency needs, you could now utilize that towards a growth-related mindset. Because if you're covering your income and your income is greater than or equal to your expenses throughout retirement, you have that peace of mind. You at least have that blanket. You at least have that safety net that you're at least receiving these incomes every single year that I live, every single month that I live. I know that this income, that my income strategy is at least taken care of, that my expenses are at least taken care of. So it allows me to really enjoy and have that peace of mind throughout retirement. The I was obviously investment planning or growth planning, and there's different nuances to that. The E would be meant for an individual that says, okay, I know that I have to create an income plan. I know I have to create an emergency plan, and I want to have leftover monies in some sort of growth-related strategy. But a large portion of this growth-related strategy, this ancillary dollars, is going to be meant for beneficiaries. I want to leave some sort of legacy. I want to either, that means you want to donate to a church, or you want to leave it to your children, your spouse, your grandchildren, whatever that is. You want to make sure that at least your estate planning is padded up correctly. And then the T is tax planning, meaning that when you're triggering income in retirement, is your income fully taxable? Are there different ways that you could do Roth conversions to make sure that your income is going to be coming to you tax-free, so that it could also reduce the amount of Social Security taxation on you and not get taxed up to a max of up to 85%, up to what your tax bracket is of Social Security income. So there's some really neat features to do that. So you could always utilize the DIET as an acronym, making sure that your distribution is covered, your investments are covered, your estate planning is covered, and then your tax planning is covered, and encompass that. An easier route or more of a generalized route would be utilizing the 3 things scenario, 3 things that every individual needs to figure out before they're retired, or if they're currently retired, how to stay retired forever. The first thing is income streams. The second thing is emergency needs. And the third thing is growth/inflation protection. Whenever you're looking to make any sort of move regarding your retirement accounts, your retirement planning, you're trying to cash out your pension when leaving your job and saying, okay, I don't know if I'm basically making the wrong move. You always want to try to back up into the math. So what I mean by that is visualize, create some sort of visualization for retirement. What do I see as my ideal retirement scenario? What do I want to make sure that at this exact age I'm retiring? Then you have to put a number to that. So that's where budgeting analysis comes into play, of saying, okay, these are my expenses right now, and get very detailed, looking at your bank statements, looking at your credit card statements, different things. Maybe you're going to have a drop off in expenses because your mortgage is going to be paid off throughout retirement, or maybe you're going to have an increase because you and your spouse want to travel more for the first 5-10 years in retirement. So get very clear on what that vision is and then back up into the math. Then you have to look at, what is my current situation? Am I offered Social Security income? Am I offered a pension income stream? Are the combination of those two going to cover what my expenses are? If they're not, what are some of my other assets that I've accumulated? Am I going to be selling my home and converting that into cash and utilizing that cash to produce some sort of income strategy? Am I going to be selling a business? Am I going to be, do I have these other IRAs or Roth IRA accounts that I've accumulated throughout the years that now I could rely on to close in that gap? And so looking at where your vision is, what the math is behind that vision, what is your current situation, what is the math behind that current situation, and then seeing if there's specific tweaks that need to be made to make sure that you're accomplishing your retirement plan successfully, you're accomplishing your retirement goals successfully, and making sure that you can at least reach that vision. And what is the math behind it? And at the end of the day, it's not magic, it's just math. It's just utilizing the numbers, making the numbers work, and reducing that risk. Regarding your growth strategies, reducing that risk when it comes to your income strategies, reducing that risk when it comes to your emergency needs, and making sure that you're not commingling different areas and saying, okay, I have this one account, I'm taking a lump sum, and I feel like I'm just going to throw it in the stock market because the market should always be going up, and I'm going to pull out income from it. What that's doing, and that problem, and it's very common, is individuals are utilizing growth strategies for income needs, or they're utilizing income strategies for growth related needs, or vice versa, or emergency needs, and they're being too conservative, and they're hoarding too many dollars in cash, and they're not getting a favorable rate of return, so they could burn through that cash very easily when inflation is increasing. If, let's say, they've misinterpreted what their expenses are, and they're paying too much money towards those expenses throughout retirement. And what does that result in? It results in retirement failure, and it results in somebody having to go back to work when they're in their 70s, their 80s, or having to have a drastic lifestyle change when really they did not want to at that time. They just wanted to ride off into the sunset and really enjoy their retirement vision, enjoy their retirement picture. So there's a couple of different things, a couple of combination of things, and I really want you to make sure that you're taking notes regarding this video, and you're asking for help. If you cannot do it on your own, make sure that you're asking for help to have a specialist really get you on that, or create that proper roadmap for you. If you found value in this video, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Retire Sharp, so you can have access to the most updated videos. And also feel free to call our 1-800 number. It's 1-800-566-1002. Reference this video, and we'll make sure that the correct specialist is set up for your specific appointment, date and time that you prefer, and go from there. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed.